Stamping friends, it's Anne the Stamp Maven here, and it is Monday night at 6 p.m. Now, I am not live with you tonight. Dave, my stamp slave, had back surgery on Wednesday, so I am still playing nurse and helping him recover, but I wanted to have a project to show you guys because I know you like to see me every Monday at 6 o'clock. So first, let me just say, Dave is doing great. He had to have a couple of his discs fused, and it is pretty painful, but the doctor said that should go away and get much better. He'll have to have limited activity for 6 to 8 weeks, I think, which those of you who know Dave know that is going to be pretty hard for me to pull off. So appreciate your prayers for that so that I keep my patience. Alrighty, let me flip the camera down so we can do tonight's project. Alrighty, I have got a fall card for you today, but you could easily, if you wanted to, let me make sure we've got that up, scooch this up just a little bit, there we go. Here is the card I'm going to show you how to make. My stamp club is going to be doing it this weekend, so I thought you guys might like to see this. The cool thing is you can use different designer series paper to make a birthday card. You could make a Christmas card, thank you, an anniversary card. This is just so easy to do. So what I started with is, on this card, it's a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 Cajun Craze scored at 4 1/4. But I also wanted to show you that even though this one opened at the top, you could also do one that opens at the side. There's a little dimensional piece. So in this case, your dimensions would be 11 by 4 1/4 and then scored at 5.5. Then I have a piece of cinnamon cider cardstock, and this is 5 by 3 3/4. And then I also have a little strip that I stamped on that is 3 inches by 1/2 inch, and we'll get to this little strip later. Okay, now let me bring in the star of the show. This is from the Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper. And we're going to need 3 pieces that measure 3 by 1.5 inches. So I just took my DSP and I cut it into strips because then it will be easier to cut in my trimmer. So I've already cut the strip at 3 inches this way. Wait a minute, 3.5 inches, sorry, 3.5 inches, and then we're going to need 3 strips at 1.5. And you'll want to make sure you keep them in the same order. So let's just get that little piece. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And let me show you a little trick that if you're not going to put this card together right away, what I do is start from the left. That's going to be the left, the middle, and the right. And then just take a paper clip and put it on the top. And that way you don't have to worry about what order should those be in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put them down on our cinnamon cider. And remember, we had them going left to right. And then you can see here how the pattern stays. You can really tell with the branches here, how the branches follow all the way. Now, I recommend that you use our Tombow multi-purpose glue, also known as green glue. You're going to want to put the left and the right one down first, because once you do that, it is much easier to place the one in the center. So I usually start with the left, and I leave about 1/8 of an inch all around. Then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do the same thing. Put that in there about the same way. And the reason I like to use this glue is if you happen to misplace it and you want to straighten it up a little, you can easily do that before it dries. When you use the Stampin' Seal, that is a great adhesive also, but it is a little harder to move once you get your pieces down. Okay, now that I have those two outside pieces, see here how it is so much easier to get in that middle piece. Now we're going to bring in our card base, and I'm going to grab my Stampin' Dimensionals. And I want a little pop on this, so I'm going to put 3 across in 3 rows. Now, you could easily just put them in the corners and then one in the middle, or just in the corners, but I want to make sure this stays on here really well, because more than likely I will probably mail this. So let's just take off these dimensional backings. I tell you, I have multiple packs of these guys sitting around. I use these so often, and I use the whole sheet, and I'll show you what I mean here in a second. Okay, so now we are just going to place this on the front of our card like that. So you see here how I've pulled these off, and there's still a row here of them. I will take my scissors and chop those and still use them. You figure, hey, why not? Okay, now the next thing I wanted to show you, if you worry about getting small images stamped evenly, this Stamparatus is Stampin' Up stamping tool, and it works so great for that. So what you would do, and I've got a little piece here that we're just going to use. So I am going to take it, let me move it up just a little, and then I'm going to stick this right where I want it. Now I've got my washi tape on there, which is not going to hurt a thing. Then I'm going to come over here and press. Then watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to just stamp this here with my ink pad. I'm going to ink it up, and then I want to just make sure that that's straight, and it is before I put my greeting in. Then I'm going to come back, ink it up. I know I said stamp a minute ago, but I meant ink it up. Just press down a little bit, and voila, perfectly straight. I've been stamping for years, but folks, I use this Stamparatus all the time. It comes with 2 of these acrylic plates that pop in and out, so you can put stamps on both sides. So if you're doing a bunch of stamping, like for invitations or something, then you'll get them straight every time. Okay, now I'm going to bring this in, but before I put it down, let me grab my scissors. I'm forever losing my scissors, so it's good I have a bunch of them. Then I'm going to just take this and I'm going to just make an angle cut like that. Then I'm going to take more of my liquid glue. Then I'm going to match this up right here on the cinnamon cider edge and put it right across here. Now, I have already used our gorgeous leaves stamp set. I chose this leaf, but there are matching dies in this stamp set. Oh my goodness, there are so many different leaves that you could use. I used this one because it matches the leaf that I wanted to use here. And you'll notice, let me get those back in there, this one matches this leaf right here. And the other one is here somewhere. Here it is. This one matches on this as well. And then what's really neat about this stamp set, you have several texture stamps that you can add some texture on your card. All right, so I stamped on basic white cardstock in my Cajun Craze, and then I cut out that leaf. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is, he's going to go right here, but I want dimensionals. I don't know why we always, or I always go when I'm like, have an image. Well, he's going to go right here. I don't know why I don't say she's going to go right here. I've just always found that kind of funny. Okay, so here we go. Then we're just going to put this right next to my friend. And then I'm going to grab my linen thread. Now, if you've watched my videos for a while, I leave the thread attached to the package when I'm tying my bow, and the reason is then I don't have any waste. I'm going to pull on that little loop right there, pull on that little loop, then I'm going to come around here and I'm going to trim it, and I haven't wasted any of it. Sometimes if you cut out or cut off a big piece, then you end up wasting it. All right, next thing we need is just to grab a little glue dot, which I've got over here in my package. And we're just going to put the glue dot right here on the leaf. And then I'll take it off. And then I'm going to just roll it up a little bit with my thumb to get the size I want. And I'm going to put this on here, get my loop a little better. Now I do want to cut off just a teeny weeny bit of that. And let me come over here and grab, I think I have, yep, I want to put a jewel on this. Now the interesting thing, these are the holiday rhinestones, but this color right here will look, whoops, come back here, will look fabulous on my card. So I'm going to just pop that down right there, and voila, the card is done. The only thing I would do then is to put a piece of 5 1/4 by 4-inch white cardstock on the inside for my, if I want to write something or stamp something else. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in, even though I wasn't live with you. Post any questions you have, and I will see you next time. Toodaloo!